Hi, I'm Dustin from the Shift Power Yoga Academy. I'm joined by my good friend Pam, and we're here today to give you an instructional video of the Journey into Power sequence, as well as the transitions that you may have noticed are not listed on your Journey into Power sequence.
So in many years of training, we discovered that the transitions can be a really sticky point for people. So Dustin's going to call me through the Journey into Power sequence and let you know when each sequence is ending, when each sequence is beginning, and pay special attention to the transitions in between. This video will be short. We're going to go through the poses quite quickly. It's not how it's typically practiced, but we just want to give you some help in your memorization of the actual sequence. So we'll get started.
The Journey into Power sequence is divided up into 11 subsequences. In this video today, I'll be explaining each of the subsequences within the Journey into Power sequence, as well as giving you an indication of when each subsequence starts and when it ends. The first subsequence in the Journey into Power sequence is called integration. We start in child's pose, downward facing dog, ragdoll, mountain pose, samastitihi with 3 ohms. At the end of the 3 ohms, we have completed the integration subsequence. The next sequence is awakening. Awakening begins with 5 sun salutation A's. Extended mountain pose, forward fold, half lift, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, halfway lift, forward fold, extended mountain pose, forward fold, halfway lift, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, halfway lift, forward fold, extended mountain pose, forward fold, halfway lift, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, halfway lift, forward fold, extended mountain pose, forward fold, halfway lift, low push-up, up dog, downward facing dog. Have now completed the 5 sun salutation A's. Halfway lift, forward fold, Utkatasana. So you'll notice as you end the 5th sun salutation A, you come forward and the sun salutation B starts in Utkatasana. Forward fold, halfway lift, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right side warrior 1, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side warrior 1, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, halfway lift, forward fold, Utkatasana, forward fold, halfway lift, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right side warrior 1, low push-up, up dog, down dog, left side warrior one, low push-up. Up dog, down dog, halfway lift, forward fold, Utkatasana, forward fold, halfway lift, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot warrior one, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left foot warrior one, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose Utkatasana, forward fold, halfway lift, low push-up, up dog, down dog, right side warrior one, low push-up, up dog, down dog, left side warrior one, low push-up, up dog, down dog, halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose, forward fold, halfway lift, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right side warrior one, low push-up, up dog, down dog, left side warrior one, low push-up, up dog, downward facing dog, halfway lift, forward fold, Utkatasana, forward fold, halfway lift, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot warrior one, low push-up, up dog, down dog, left side warrior one, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. The sun salutation B ends right here in downward facing dog. The next part of awakening begins with flip dog on your right side. From flip dog to high plank, to side plank on your right, high plank, to low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, flip dog on your left side, high plank, side plank on your left, high plank, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. The subsequence of awakening ends right here in downward facing dog. The next subseries in the Journey into Power sequence is Vitality. You'll notice Vitality starts with the Sun B variation, and the Sun B variation in this case is your step forward to crescent lunge on your right side. Twist to your right. From here, the next pose is extended side angle, but the transition in between from your revolved crescent lunge come to warrior two, Then transition into extended side angle. Vinyasa to the other side, so go low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side crescent lunge, twist to your left, transition to warrior two, extended side angle, to low push-up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, halfway left, forward fold, Utkatasana, thunderbolt prayer twist to your right, fingers to toes forward fold, Utkatasana, thunderbolt prayer twist to the left, palms to toes forward fold, crow pose. Now as Pam gets into crow pose here, crow is the last pose in the vitality subsequence. We move from crow pose through a vinyasa. Pam will go to low push-up from here, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. We've now completed the entirety of the vitality sequence. We move from vitality into equanimity. Pam will come forward to halfway left, forward fold, extended mountain pose. That is the transition to move in between the two sequences. Now equanimity begins with eagle pose right side. An extended mountain pose in between to eagle pose left side. Extended mountain pose. There's two eagles, so again, eagle pose right side. Extended mountain pose. Eagle pose left side, extended mountain pose, standing leg raise right side, and then Pam will open her right leg to the right, and then she'll bring her right leg back to the center of her body, reach up with her fingertips, and then extend her right leg behind her into airplane pose. From airplane, we transition into half moon. So bring her left hand down, her right hand to the ceiling. From here, she'll bring her right foot beside her left into a forward fold. Rise up to extended mountain pose. Standing leg raise left side. Again, from center out to the side. And then back to center, fingertips towards the ceiling, left foot behind for airplane pose. Right hand to the floor, left hand reaches up for half moon. Left hand and left foot to the floor, forward fold. Extended mountain pose. Dancer's pose right side. To extended mountain pose, dancer's pose left side, extended mountain pose, dancer's pose right side, extended mountain, dancer's pose left side, extended mountain pose, tree pose on the right, an extended mountain pose, tree pose left side, extended mountain pose. And we complete the equanimity sequence here in extended mountain pose. And we move from equanimity to grounding. The first pose in grounding is triangle pose. And to get there, the unlisted transition is another vinyasa. So Pam will take a forward fold, halfway lift, low push-up, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot warrior one. So again, this isn't in the sequence, but this is our transition into triangle. From warrior one, we open to warrior two, triangle pose. From triangle pose, back to warrior two. Side facing, wide-legged forward. In the first variation, the ground is mat, and your head to mat. Then from here you back to stand. Turn to face the front of your back. Here pose. Front facing on the forward, and back. Into twisting triangle. To low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot, one. Warrior two. Triangle pose. Warrior two. Side facing wide forward bend this time interlace and back bow forward. And rise back up stand. Front facing namaste forward. Twisting triangle. Low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. So we get to downward facing dog, and this completes the grounding series. And we move from grounding to igniting. And the transition between the down dog and the locust, Pam's going to come forward to high plank. He's going to lower all the way to the floor. And then take locust pose. And release. Rise up locust pose. And release. Floor bow. And release. Floor bow, and release. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now to transition to camel, we drop the knees to the floor. Pam's going to come up to kneeling on her knees, move into camel pose. And then released, child's pose. Back up to your knees. Camel pose, second set. Release, child's pose. Downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, Pam's going to bring her feet forward, hop or step through, lie down right on her back. So we move into bridge pose. And then release. Now wheel pose. I'm just going to rise, wheel pose, and release. And you're going to do this 6 times. Rise, wheel, and release. Wheel pose, rise, lower, wheel pose, lower, wheel pose, go up, and come down. This Supta Baddha Konasana, dead bug, or happy baby pose. Pam's going to send her feet up towards the ceiling as we end igniting and we move into the stability subsequence. And it starts with scissor legs. So Pam's going to bring her hands behind her head and she's going to start to, one leg at a time, scissor her legs. And then she'll bring both of her feet up. She's going to lower her legs 30% of the way, or 60-30 lift, and another 30%. Feet hover up off the floor, and then feet come back up. Once more lower, 60%, hover, feet up. Now Pam will bend her knees, hands behind her head, and take abdominal twists. And then when you complete the abdominal twist, Pam will rock herself, catch behind her knees, rock up to boat pose. The transition here as we end stability and move into opening, Pam's going to cross her ankles, go to downward facing dog. We've completed stability and we're ready to move into the sequence of opening. We'll start with half pigeon on the right side. And we'll bring her right leg forward. To double pigeon, she'll stack her left shin on top of the right. Then she'll transition back to downward facing dog. Her left leg forward for half pigeon. And swing her right leg around for double pigeon. And then she'll move herself right from here into frog pose. And then move herself out of frog pose and come forward, bring your feet together, make your way back to seated on your mat for the beginning of the release sequence. So we've just completed the 3 poses with an opening. The first pose and release is seated single leg extension. And then Pam will rise up and switch sides. Single seated leg extension on the left, and rise, and then seated forward bend, rise up, tabletop, to fish pose, and then fish pose completes the release series and we move into rejuvenation. Pam will take a shoulder stand. So you'll notice on your journey into power sequence, you have the option to give your students headstand or handstand or really any inversion that they choose here. From shoulder stand, we transition to plow pose, to deaf man's pose. And then Pam will roll out onto her back, and that completes the rejuvenation subsequence as we move into the final subsequence within Journey into Power, deep rest. It begins with a supine twist, and we'll bring her right knee in, twist to the right. And then come back through center, release that. Pull her left knee in, twist. And come back to center, release. And Pam will bring her feet together for butterfly pose. And transition from here into Shavasana, the final posture of deep rest and the final posture of your journey into power sequence.